At this very moment, countless men are trapped in emotionally abusive relationships, completely unaware that it's happening to them. They believe they're being good partners, responsible husbands, decent men. Yet, in truth, they've become victims of a form of violence so subtle and deceptive that by the time they see it for what it is, it's already too late. They're emotionally destroyed. Today, I want to uncover the hidden reality of female psychological abuse, the manipulation, the tactics, the slow, methodical dismantling of men that society refuses to acknowledge. We're told the same story over and over again. Men are always the aggressors. Women are always the victims. No exceptions, no nuance. But what if I told you something different? That women can inflict just as much damage as men do, only with different weapons. Men use force. Women use psychology. Men bruise the skin. Women wound the mind. And guess which kind of violence is recognized by the law? Exactly, only the physical kind. A woman can torment a man's mind for years, even decades, and no one will believe him. No one will help. No one will even admit it's possible. I've seen real cases that will chill you to the bone. These weren't weak or broken men. They were successful, confident, and respected. Yet they were slowly dismantled by women who mastered psychological warfare. The scariest part? It almost always begins the same way, with affection, warmth, and tenderness. That's how they gain control. Let me tell you about one man I worked with, an executive in his 60s. He built a successful company, raised children, lived a life that looked perfect from the outside. But his wife hasn't spoken to him in 3 years. Not a single word. They share the same house, even the same bed, but she treats him as if he doesn't exist. He only leaves his room when she's not home. He buys his own groceries, eats alone, and moves like a ghost through the very house he paid for, the life he built. How did it begin? First, she didn't like his friends. They're a bad influence. They don't respect me. It's them or me. He chose her. Then came his hobbies. Fishing is immature. Golf is a waste of money. You should spend more time with the family. So he gave those up too. Then it was his family. Your brother is toxic. Your mother doesn't like me. We need to set boundaries. Step by step, she isolated him until she was the only person left in his world. And once she had complete control, she stopped pretending to care. The cruelest part? The house is in her name. Before retirement, he refinanced everything and signed it all over to her, believing that's what a loving husband does. Now he's trapped, paying for his own cage. If he leaves, he's homeless at 60. If he stays, he's dying inside. He hasn't had intimacy in over a decade. He hasn't had a real conversation in years. A man who once built an empire can't even sit at his own dinner table. What most men don't understand about female abuse is this. It's meant to stay invisible. When a man hits a woman, everyone sees the bruise. When a woman breaks a man mentally, nobody sees a thing. She appears like a saint while he looks unstable. She plays the helpless victim while secretly being the predator. She cries in public and destroys him behind closed doors. And if he dares to react, raises his voice, punches a wall, shows frustration, suddenly he's the abuser, and her story is confirmed. Now, let's look at the weapons she uses, because once you recognize them, you'll never see relationships the same way again. Guilt manipulation. Everything becomes your fault. She's unhappy. You're not romantic enough. She's bored. You're not fun enough. She cheats. You pushed her to it. You live in a constant loop of apology, fixing problems that don't exist, taking blame for things that aren't yours, trying to prove yourself to someone who will never be satisfied. One of my clients, a brilliant programmer, was convinced he was a sex addict who needed therapy. Why? Because he wanted sex more than once a month. She turned psychology into a weapon. You're obsessed with sex. You only see me as an object. You need help. Now he's sitting in therapy, believing he's broken, while she controls every part of their intimacy through guilt and shame. She decides when, how, and if they're intimate, and he's thankful for whatever crumbs she gives, because she's trained him to believe he's the problem. Isolation. This one is disturbingly effective. She doesn't forbid you from seeing your friends. That would look suspicious. Instead, she starts a fight every time you're about to go out. Not about the outing itself, but about something unrelated. The trash you forgot. That tone you used last night. That thing you said 2 months ago. The timing is always perfect, just enough to make you late, upset, or to make you cancel altogether. After a while, your friends stop calling. He's whipped. She's got him on a leash. They fade out of your life, and she never had to say a word. Then she hits you with the illusion of closeness. We don't need anyone else. It's you and me against the world. No one understands us like we understand each other. It feels romantic, until you realize you're utterly alone with someone who's been slowly erasing your world. Your friends are gone. Your family's gone. Your perspective, gone. Now she's your only source of validation, and she uses that dependence to control you. Public humiliation disguised as humor. She ridicules you in front of others, but always with a smile. She jokes about your salary, your looks, your failures. Everyone laughs, and you die a little inside. And if you speak up, you're too sensitive. You can't take a joke. You're ruining the mood. You're trapped. If you stay silent, you shrink. If you react, you become the angry man. Either way, she wins. Sex as a form of control. Intimacy turns into a bargaining chip, a currency she trades for obedience. When you do what she wants, you might be rewarded. When you disagree, you're punished with silence, distance, or rejection. Without realizing it, you're being trained like a pet responding to commands. You start associating her happiness with the faint hope of affection that should have been a normal part of love. She's not showing passion. She's conditioning you. Financial manipulation. She doesn't need to touch your bank account to control your money. All she has to do is shame you into spending it. Sarah's husband just bought her a Tesla. My sister's family vacations in Europe every summer. I guess I'm just not worth something nice. Suddenly you're working longer hours, chasing her approval through things you can't afford. If you fail to meet her expectations, you're a disappointment. If you succeed, you're neglecting her. You can't win, because winning was never the goal. The children. This is her nuclear weapon. You'll never see the kids again. I'll tell them what you really are. She uses your love for your children like a leash, knowing you'll endure anything just to stay close to them. One man told me his wife said to his face, "I can treat you however I want, because if you leave, I get the house, the kids, and half your income. So shut up and deal with it." And she was right. The system protects women from violent men, but not men from violent women. Gaslighting. I never said that. You're imagining things. You're too sensitive. Bit by bit, she rewrites reality until you don't know what's true anymore. You start doubting your memory, your emotions, your judgment. Eventually, you start believing her version of events, even when it contradicts what you lived through. She doesn't just twist the truth. She erases your ability to trust yourself. Emotional blackmail. She threatens to hurt herself if you leave. The fog in your mind isn't confusion. It's the residue of long-term psychological torture. She collapses in tears when you set boundaries. She has panic attacks every time you say no. You become her emotional caretaker, walking on eggshells to prevent another meltdown. Her crises become your full-time job. And before long, you're not living your life. You're just managing hers. The victim flip. This one is pure psychological theater. She provokes you for hours, days, even weeks, poking, mocking, and needling you until you finally react. You shout, punch a wall, or storm out. And suddenly, she's the victim. She's crying, recording, or calling the police. Everything she did to push you disappears. Now the story is simple. You're the monster. Intermittent reinforcement, the most addictive pattern known in behavioral psychology. Sometimes she's warm, affectionate, supportive, everything you fell in love with. Then, out of nowhere, she turns cold again. Just when you're ready to give up, she shows affection, making you think, maybe things are getting better. But they're not. You're not in love. You're addicted to the hope that love might return. And then come the advanced weapons, medical manipulation. She suddenly gets sick every time you try to be independent. Migraines when you want to visit family. Stomach pain when you go out with friends. Back problems when you suggest she get a job. And spiritual manipulation. God wants you to be a better husband. The universe is telling me you need to change. Your energy feels toxic. You can't argue with sickness, morality, or higher truth. And she knows it. The system that protects her society turns a blind eye to all of this. Tell someone your wife abuses you. They'll laugh or assume you're lying. Men's shelters are nearly non-existent. Therapists often take her side. The entire support system was built for female victims, not male ones. So what can you do? Accept it's not your fault you're not weak, crazy, or unstable. Record everything. Every insult, every threat, every manipulation. Not to prove it to anyone else, but to remind yourself of what's real when she tries to rewrite it. Rebuild your support system. Quietly reconnect with people who knew you before the abuse. Find those who remind you of who you were. Protect your finances. Open a separate account. Save quietly. Be ready, because when you leave, she'll try to destroy you financially. Accept that leaving costs, but staying costs more. Leaving might mean losing everything. Your home, your kids, your reputation. But staying means losing yourself. And that's a debt you'll never recover from. The hardest truth of all, the woman you love doesn't exist. She was a character, an illusion crafted to hook you. The real her is the one who manipulates, controls, and diminishes you. The good moments weren't love, they were bait. The abuse is the reality. Some of you will say, she's not that bad. That's what every victim tells himself, until it's too late. Others will say, but I love her. I can fix this. You can't fix someone who doesn't believe she's broken. The only way to win this game is to stop playing. Most men will read this, feel a spark of recognition, and then do nothing, because leaving feels impossible. But a few will understand that this is their wake-up call. They'll start planning their escape. They'll lose things they never thought they could, but they'll gain something priceless. Themselves. You get one life, one chance. Right now, you're wasting it as a prisoner of someone who doesn't love you. Only the control she has over you. That's not a relationship. It's a hostage situation. Every day you stay is a day you'll never get back. Every day you tolerate the abuse is a day you trade your freedom for fear. Stop letting her convince you you're the problem. Stop letting society silence you. Stop letting fear chain you down. You deserve peace. You deserve respect. You deserve love that isn't conditional, manipulative, or cruel. But you'll never have it with someone who thrives on your pain. The clock is ticking. She's counting on you being too tired, too scared, too broken to act. Show her she was wrong about you. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Subscribe. There's lots more to come.